Welcome to Knowledge and Meaning, Part 5 of this 12-part Wisdom series. These teaching programs are made possible by Your Own World Books, publishers of the Colburn Bible and God's Child Covenant by Marshall Masters. Please feel free to share complete and unedited copies of these programs with others. For more information, visit virtualserenity.com.
We tend to think of survival in terms of what is in our bunker, our storm shelter, the pantries in our kitchens, and in the haversacks we sling over our shoulders. These are important to be sure, but to survive lengthy trials, one must also know how to feed the soul. A full stomach with a weak spirit is not the best way to ensure your survival over a period of months and years. Long after the haversack is empty, the pantry bare, and the bunker stripped clean, the strength in your soul will be all that remains. This is why knowledge is as important as food, because while a day without food is a discomfort, a day without hope invites disaster. Herein is the true benefit of knowledge. It is inexhaustible. Once acquired, it nourishes the soul, regardless of whatever is at hand to nourish the body. This is why knowledge is so vitally important. It gives us the strength and hope to go one step beyond hopelessness, because it reassures us that the dark days will eventually pass. It likewise gives us the confidence to know that one day we will arise from the ashes of a devastated world to embrace the sunlight of a new future. It will be there for those who endure to see it, and for those born into it without knowing the full price paid. Yet they will appreciate all those who sought this knowledge for all life to come.
As we spoke to you in the other two segments, awareness, preparedness, and knowledge, there is no separation between them. They're just simply different aspects of the process that each and every one of you will be going through in the next weeks, months, and years to come. Some people would tell you that knowledge is power, and I would tell you that it's not an accurate statement. Knowledge is simply what it is. It is how it's applied as to whether it's wise or not. Knowledge comes from not only books, but also from an awareness, again, speaking with the guides and being prepared for what they have to tell you. For if you truly stand in your truth, and if you truly wish only to hear the truth, then that comes from being prepared and being aware. And therefore that comes the knowledge that that which you are receiving from those guides, outside sources inside of self, is truth. Because knowledge, as it is applied, is only as good if it is applied. So as we bring you through, we understand that what we've spoken to you about today in these three segments may not seem very deep. They may not seem very totally informative, and we recognize that. For what these are is steps we are going to bring to you in each of these three areas, as well as continue the growth process by bringing other topics. We will be bringing them into more and more depth, more and more finite details, so that as time goes along, you will be able to start seeing a clearer picture. It will be building much like making a cake. and making the many layers, the cake and then the icing and the cake and then the icing. And we will be building a grand cake, by the way, all of us together. For those of you who are here listening, by sending the energy that you wish to know more, that you wish to really find out what the key is to you, not to your neighbor, not to your spouse, not to your loved one, but to you, then it means about listening, it means about sharing, and it means about intent. Knowledge that you all have here on this earth plane that are written in your pages, and there's many pages of many books that would tell you this is truth and that is truth. Many of you out there would believe those things that are written within the pages of these books, and we would tell you, we would like for you now, when you go and read something, is to feel how those words seem to you that are printed on that paper. We'd like for you to feel it, because if it doesn't feel right to you, then it is not your truth. That's how you come into knowledge. We would like to invite you to read or to listen to something, and we would like for you to become aware of how you feel about those words that you hear or that you read. If you get nothing from it at all, we would tell you to take that one step further and see if you have a block or obstacle. If you're not sure, that is a good starting point for you, is to start by figuring out how come you did not sense or feel anything one way or another. You may discover that it has nothing to do with you at all, but you may also discover that you have a block or an obstacle that you were not aware of that's in place within your being. So we would suggest to you, as you listen to these words and words of others, and as you read books, to make it a point to be aware. Because the awareness is what brings preparedness, which brings us to the knowledge of knowing what your truth is. For only you have the key to your own truth. As time goes on, we will expound on this in great depth about why it is that many of us do not feel the same way about any given material. We will discover what that means in the times ahead.
When a cataclysmic event happens, the first instinct is to act, or to be paralyzed with inertia. Both responses are the direct result of one's level of awareness and preparedness. Granted, there are those who succumb despite their awareness and those fortunate enough to survive the event by sheer luck alone. However, it is after the initial event when survivors must come to grips with the burden of loss and fears for the future. Those who are unprepared and unaware will not fathom the deeper reasons for the event. Overwhelmed by suffering and irreconcilable grief, they will attribute it to some mysterious cause, a quirk of nature, the vengeance of a deity, or the failing of a corrupt government. In these settings, the unprepared will seek out those possessing awareness, preparedness, and knowledge for guidance, not only for physical survival, but also to grasp the meaning of what has happened so they can replace the misplaced anger of mystery with the knowledge of a more noble purpose. When you accumulate knowledge, you are building a stockpile of meaning, hope, and survival wisdom for the days following the initial event. Days when hopelessness will claim lives just as easily as hunger, fatigue, and disease, perhaps even more so. Use your knowledge now to find peace within you, and it will give you the resolve to accept the burden of these future responsibilities. When the time comes, others less knowledgeable and less prepared will find hope and meaning in your words. Do it not for them or yourself, but for your greatest responsibility, that being your responsibility to our species and its future survival. Finding that future will demand a powerful sense of direction and purpose. This is why the next teaching of the Elohim shows us how responsibility also serves as our inner compass to the future.
These teaching programs are made possible by Your Own World Books, publishers of the Kolbrin Bible and God's Child Covenant by Marshall Masters. The Kolbrin Bible is a two-part wisdom text. This secular anthology offers the wisdom of hundreds of ancient authors, and the many harbinger signs of their prophecies are now converging on 2012. God's Child Covenant is a romantic action drama set against a global tribulation. It offers a realistic yet hopeful vision for the future, because 2012 will be less about what is in your bunker and more about what is in your heart. A printed transcript of this entire teaching series is available. For more information, visit virtualserenity.com.